Welcome to the Combustion Chronicles podcast, where bold leaders combined with big ideas to create game-changing disruption. I'm Shawn Nason, your host for navigating the upside-down world of disruption. We're excited to depart from our usual programming for a few weeks to present a special miniseries based on my new book, Kiss Your Dragons, Radical Relationships, Bold Heartsets, and Changing the World. Throughout these mini episodes, I'm joined by my co-authors, Glasco and Michael Harper. Together, we'll be digging into the heartsets and mindsets featured in the book and getting real about our personal journeys that led us to launch all of this into the world. Like it or not, you've got some dragons in your life that need kissing. So pucker up and let's have some explosive conversations. On this episode, we're going to talk about why Michael and Rob and I wrote Kiss Your Dragons. And I want to read a little bit, and then we'll dive into this. It says, Kiss Your Dragons. The title of this book is a metaphor, a credo, and a rallying cry we use to describe the unique, powerful, and equally crazy hard journey it is to commit to creating positive change, always, everywhere, with everyone, in both work and life. And I remember when we started this journey, we were in the middle of the pandemic. We've been talking, really we had struggled to write this book for what, a year and a half, almost 2 years? And we didn't know which direction to go. And then all of a sudden, the three of us were on the phone with the team and we started into this, and Kiss Your Dragons came to life. And, Rob and I, we've known each other for several years. You're my sister, my twin sister. Share with us why this book was so important to you to get out and to get this whole concept out.
Yeah, as recovering healthcare executives, one of the things that got in the way, whether inside the organization or consulting with Fortune 1 to Fortune 1000 companies, there's a consistent theme, and it's this notion of we've done it this way before, fear, you can name it. There are just things that get in the way of being able to make change, to make progress, and to get anything past incrementalism. And thought it was, we get asked the same question every single time, that when we think about a dragon, usually it's this fear-based, and just as we typically do, let's reframe that. Yep. Let's not look at this thing that usually we tend to, as employees or people who are working with organizations, we automatically put up this wall of this thing we must fear or this thing we cannot conquer. But given how we roll, let's flip it around and let's not fear this dragon. Let's embrace it. And let's use the tools that we've had and we've developed over the years to teach that as a metaphor of not fearing your dragon, but embracing it, and better yet, puckering up and kissing your dragon.
And why do we as a people so quickly jump towards a common enemy? Like, why is that so important to us that we've got to come together and call this out as the problem?
I think just in general, when you are doing a group project in school, if you're on a team, you have to find commonness. You have to find similar. You have to find we're wearing the same jersey. You have to find that. And so it's just a natural thing of let's find a common enemy. Let's find something that we can quickly agree. Yes, quickly agree on, and then we can move.
Right.
Yeah, and I know we'll jump into this in another podcast around the swarm concept, but I do want to lean into, because I remember we were on these conversations with the team, and I don't remember how, if it was you or I or which one, but we leaned into the movie series, How to Train Your Dragon, right? And the story of Toothless, which is Ed, sitting here on the table, right? Toothless and Hiccup, this young man who had been taught his whole life, his journey, right? His whole life by his father, grandfather, society, to hate dragons and to kill them.
And to live in fear of them.
And to live in fear of them.
Yeah.
And the day that he was faced with confronting that dragon, toothless, he couldn't do it. That's that change that we're talking about, right? And instead of killing that dragon, he leaned in and he trained that dragon. And if you go through the 3 movies, if you haven't watched them all, but by the end of the 3rd movie, he had radically, because he had leaned into that, changed society, changed the whole world that he knew, right? And they were using these dragons to do work and to fly on, and they were part of society. And I really want to lean into that, you guys, with the 3 of us around this journey, and why we leaned into that, because I think that is really important, because each of us here have our own story of how we want to see society changing, business changing, especially in the world we live in today. And it's almost frightening to me that the rest of the people in the world don't think like us, right? Michael, share a little bit why this was so important to you.
For me, the world did not need another business book.
Yes.
No.
Right.
And that was, I think, my angst at the beginning of all this, is why do we need another book? Why is this just an egotistical thought leadership launch? Another business book by another person that no one's going to ever hear of? Or is there really something to this that might actually have an impact on the world? And I quickly got to, yeah, there's an impact here. There is a possibility, and it comes back to this whole notion of training your dragon. And I even wonder if the folks who made that movie might even change the word train at this point. Because it's not about, training infers that there's a power differential, right? And this is not about power differential. This is about equality and sharing in that power dynamic and the radical relationships that we talk about. So it's about engaging with your dragons, engaging the things that are the scariest, hardest, grossest, most scary thing that you could ever imagine.
Right.
And somehow engaging that in ways that you didn't think you could do by yourself.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that in terms of what you can imagine, because I am the best movie producer and director and star of my own movie. And we often think in our head, or we hear that folklore of that one employee, you know, of yon, or of yesteryear, who didn't survive because they thought differently. And I just think of all the things we enjoy today that used to bring fear upon, whether it's a flight, of fire, of someone who's of a different color, that now, because we shift a mindset, that we look at it different, and we have advanced as a society as a result. And so being able to just literally lean in, embrace it, and shift your mindset can just open up so many different possibilities.
So my question to you two, and I'll share a little bit on is this journey worth it to lean into Kiss Your Dragons? Right? Like, so I would say yes, but again, understanding that there is a new way of having to do it, right? This journey is not the typical journey. It's not, and Michael, I so appreciate it, and you and I had conversations about, we don't need another self-help book. We don't need another, here is the 7 steps to go, to go be a great leader, right? This is not about that. This is, and for those of you that haven't read the book, it's a conversation, just like you're watching here and hearing here. It's just a conversation between Michael and Robin and I, sharing where we were and where we are on this journey. And I know for me, this journey never ends. Because when I think we've arrived, something else comes up.
So is it worth it?
All day, every day, twice on Sundays.
Because
I see the struggle. I've lived the struggle. There's a lot of gray hair under here, and And we get in our way, and we get in our way up here more so than anything else. In being able to put these mindsets in practice from our own experiences, and then those what we work with others when they've been able to put it in practice, you get light years beyond what you could have ever dreamed. So to me, as someone who enjoys watching that happen, I think 100% it is definitely worth it.
Is it worth it?
Absolutely.
Because?
Because it'll make you a better person.
You're such a pastor.
Well, and when I say that, I think we live in such closed-mindedness in our society today, and we don't want to turn this into a political thing or a social justice thing, but it's because of our closed-mindedness in our world today that we are where we are. And what I have learned from Toothless and Hiccup is that when you embrace that, and even in fear, I wouldn't say that Hiccup leaned in and went, "Oh, this is going to be fun." And you know, and I remember part in the movie when he's in the arena and he's got to kill the dragon. That was that moment when it flipped for society when he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't easy. He was afraid he was going to lose everything, his family, right? And that's the part we have to be aware of. Would I still do it? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I would answer yes, reluctantly.
I felt that. That was the slowest.
That is a reluctant yes. And I think one of the spiritual gifts I bring to the table is that I'm always about 5 steps ahead on things. And I see the hard work, and I see the pain, and I see the time that will be used up. I would rather work more efficiently and not have to do any of that.
This is a moment of truth.
It is.
And it's fascinating because I also am 5 steps ahead and not thinking anything about that at all.
Well, but that's the beauty of our relationships, right?
1,000,000%.
Because I'm 5 steps ahead, not thinking about anything that you two are thinking about, right? Like, but that's the beauty of what's happening on this journey, right? There is such a diversification of thought, of how we move, but that's what makes this relationship beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do want to finish with, because you started this, Robin, and we'll close this episode where we talked about, and for those of you that don't know, I'm Native American, but we talked about this Sioux legend that says the hardest journey in life is from your head to your heart. And I think that is what this journey, and that's what Kiss Your Dragons is about.
100%.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to this special presentation of the Combustion Chronicles, featuring the lessons and stories behind our new book, Kiss Your Dragons, Radical Relationships, Bold Heartsets, and Changing the World, which is available now at Amazon. If you'd like to bring Kiss Your Dragons into your life or workplace, head to ShawnNason.com, where you can check out our resource kit for teens, a free book club discussion guide, and information about self-paced and in-person training. If you're ready to dive deeper with us, you can also learn more about our mastermind group and personal coaching. And don't forget to connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse so we can continue the conversation about radical relationships, challenging the status quo, and being the people the world needs us to be. Thanks for joining us. Now get out there and kiss some dragons.